You might have thought that an island nation hundreds of miles away from any landmass would have been a reassuringly safe place to be in recent weeks. But in that time, the mesmerizing beauty of the so-called land of fire and ice enticed in plenty of visitors. Icelanders themselves headed in and out for work and pleasure. In a world of mass travel, remoteness is no insurance against a virus spread by people. And yet this small nation hit back against the arrival of COVID with a strategy of test, 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 and unusually not just on the sick, but the seemingly healthy. Not a single person in this busy private clinic has shown the faintest sign of having the virus, but they've turned up anyway to be tested, for reassurance, to make sure they don't spread disease unwittingly, and to provide blood for research into antibodies to fight COVID.
I want to help, and I want to be safe. If I'm going to have an answer tomorrow and it's yes, so I have to stay home.
As part of our social responsibility, I feel responsible to come and just do the test to make sure that me and the people I live with, virus-free.
Iceland now believes it has tested a higher percentage of people than any other nation. More than 45,000 samples have been taken from a population of just 360,000. Over 40% of those who tested positive had no symptoms at the time and were quickly isolated. The country's Prime Minister admits being a small nation has its advantages, but they're keen to share what they've learned with the world.
In a small country, people really, it's easier to get information to everybody. I think we have shown a lot of solidarity also, and that's very Icelandic, maybe because we're a small nation on an island and we tend to argue about everything, but when we are really hit with something difficult, we tend to show a very strong solidarity, and we've been doing that.
But testing is only part of Iceland's success story, which has seen the number of cases drop to a daily handful, on one day recently none at all. Huge effort has gone into tracking contacts of people confirmed to be infected.
Apparently you are in Iceland at the moment.
Detective Chief Inspector Gestur Parmason is part of a tracing team, which at one point was 160 strong. A veteran of counter-terrorism and organised crime, he's using old-fashioned investigative skills to locate people who've been close to those who tested positive. A phone app which can trace where people have been is now helping in that effort.
The rule of thumb is if you've been within 2 meters for more than 15 minutes of an individual, you're believed to be a contact. So once we've gathered all your contacts, we call the contacts and tell them that they have to go into quarantine for 2 weeks.
Iceland's approach of test, track and isolate has allowed it to avoid some of the more draconian restrictions imposed by other nations. But the government has now decided anyone entering the country has to quarantine. Believing they've got on top of the virus, they don't want to risk travellers spreading it again. Michelle Clifford, Sky News, Reykjavik, Iceland.